Training Camp, pages 9 to 13. The new coach's eyes flicked again to Rain. The pupils grew and then shrank, refocusing. "What are you looking for?" the voice asked. It was deep and distant. Rain opened his mouth, caught himself, shrunk away. "It's not what you think," the voice continued. "Professor?" Freddie murmured. Sure. Let me introduce the boys. This is Rain. That will be all today. Frederick," Rollaby cut in. His voice was smooth and deep, but there was steel in it, a crack of authority. "I thought we'd talk about the upcoming season," Freddie trailed off. Rollaby didn't respond. He just stood there, staring down, way down at the owner. Freddie quailed and hurried out. The door slammed shut behind him, and the sound seemed to search for a way out of the gym before finally fading. Fairwood grew eerily still. Rollaby didn't speak or move or do anything at all. The silence dragged on until Rain could feel it sitting on his shoulders. It pressed down harder and harder with each passing second, and after a full minute, it was nearly unbearable. "Did you think that would make it easier?" the voice asked. Rain felt a queer sensation and glanced down. There was a hole in his chest. He grabbed at it, frantic, but his body was solid under his fingers. He tried to breathe, feeling his skin prickling. He must have been daydreaming. He had slept poorly. That was it. He tried to relax. Finally, Rollaby removed a folded sheet of paper and a gold pen from an inner pocket of his suit. "I'll need everyone to sign this before we can proceed," he said, unfolding the paper. "What is it?" Big John asked wearily. "A contract," Rollaby replied. "Who wants to sign first?" Rain tentatively stepped forward. He was the leader of the team, after all. Rollaby held the contract out for him in one hand, which was large enough to serve as a tray. A navy blue W sat in the center of the letterhead, and a gold trim lined the edges. "I, Sean Rain Adams, hereby agree to learn from Professor Rollaby Wizenard the nature of all things. This contract is bound by the laws that govern the kingdom of Granity." Rain stared at the contract, perplexed. It made no sense to him, but he couldn't see any harm in signing it, so as long as the nature of all things included basketball. The professor was clearly a bit eccentric, but that didn't matter if he could coach. Rain reached out to take the sheet. "Should I sign it on the floor or—" "No need." Rain took it and frowned. The paper was rigid as steel, despite having been folded. He accepted the pen as well, which was inscribed Rollaby Wizenard along one side, and signed his name as always. Sean Rain Adams, number 7. "Thank you," Rollaby said next. Big John stepped forward, looking somewhat emboldened. Again, he reached for the contract, but Rain paused. The contract was written for Rain alone. It was no use to Big John. "We need another contract, right?" Rain said. "Why?" Rain gestured to the sheet. "Well, it says my name." He stopped. The contract didn't say his name at all. It now said, "I, Jonathan Big John Renly." It was also unsigned, despite the fact that Rain had just put his signature there. Without another word, Rain handed it to Big John and backed away. He was daydreaming. That was it. He hadn't slept well last night. He needed sleep. "No, you need to wake up," the voice said. Rain rubbed his forehead. "What is wrong with me?" he thought. Rollaby was looking through his bag. "Here we are," Rollaby said finally, "one for everyone." He abruptly threw a ball at Big John, and it ricocheted off his cheek. Balls came flying out of the bag to each player in rapid-fire succession, though Rollaby never once looked up. "We get to keep them?" Reggie asked excitedly. Only 4 guys on the team owned a ball of their own. Twig, Penyo, he shared with Lab, Vin, and Rain. Twig and Vin came from wealthier families, and Penyo had managed to find an old misshapen one at a yard sale. Rain's was a gift from Freddie, brand new, 2 years ago, but now worn nearly to the core, the pebbling smoothed out, the grip like a bowling ball's. "They are yours," Rollaby confirmed, still throwing the balls. Reggie grabbed his and clutched it to his chest, grinning. Then his eyes went wide. Rain caught a flash of orange and put his hands up just in time. The instant the ball touched his fingers, Rain felt a chill. Everything around him had changed. The gym was completely empty. "Guys," he whispered. "Guys, is anyone there?" His voice echoed through the gym, searching under the bleachers and through the locker rooms before returning to him with the same question. Rain hugged the ball without thinking. How could everyone have left so suddenly? And what was that draft? It snuck into his bones. "You wanted this." "Who's there?" he shouted, whirling around. Questions pounded through his head, though Rain didn't want to acknowledge them. Why did he leave me? What did I do? "Stop it!" Rain turned for the front doors, but they too were gone. He was trapped in Fairwood. "Let me out!" "Are you ready for the road?" Rain started to panic. His heart was beating so loud it echoed in the rafters. "Penyo?" he said. "John? Mama? Let me out!" The walls seemed to close in, impassable, a prison. "Help me!" Rain screamed. He suddenly had the distinct sense that something was watching him, and he whirled around and realized it was a someone. Rollaby was there, his hands clasped behind his back. "What is this?" Rain started. Rollaby said. "Interesting. That will be all today. I will see you here tomorrow." With that, the team reappeared, all of them looking queasy. Rollaby closed his medicine bag and started for the doors, which swung open to greet him with another gust of frozen wind. "What time?" Penyo asked, rubbing a trembling hand over his head. The doors slammed shut, and Penyo chased after him. "Do we keep the balls?" he shouted, shoving the doors open again. "What, Professor?" Rollaby was already gone.